From Center Culture Studios in downtown Atlanta, this is the ATL Arts Collective, powered by ArtsATL. I'm Kim Drobes, and I have the privilege of being here today with WABE digital reporter Kenny Murry. Kenny, how are you? I am so happy you are here.
Kim, I can't believe this is finally happening. I can't tell you how happy I am.
I feel the same way.
Amazing.
For the unfamiliar, Kenny was a contributor to the previous show on WABE, the City Lights Collective, that we both worked on.
An incredible experience I had. I had so much fun.
That's lovely. And we really enjoyed you as a contributor. You're an incredible interviewer. You asked every interview you did, and it happens with the one you brought us today, too. They stop you at some point and they say, oh my gosh, you asked the best questions.
Oh my God. I think it's just the fact that I was never able to shut the hell up when I was younger. I was finally able to use that energy that annoyed everyone around me for good. So I think once I realized there was a chance to use that for good, I automatically hopped on it and just hugged it violently.
Kenny obviously got some pretty good feedback on his interviews. You took it to heart. You started doing more. And now you have launched your own interview podcast. Congratulations.
Thank you
This
so
is just
much.
a week old, right?
Yes. And it's still unbelievable. As I was telling you off camera, I started off doing my first interview, I want to say January of this year. So for the past 6 months, I've just been baking interviews, making emails, editing episodes here and there, just to make sure that by the time I premiered, I had everything A1 and ready to go. And it's just been such a blessing to see, something I placed so much love and thought and anticipation into, find such a stable audience, both with my friends and my family, as well as people who had never heard of the pod. I've had a couple of people, by the grace of God, follow my social media just from seeing the reels out there in their algorithm. And
that's fantastic.
it's been a truly great experience. And also, too, I've been a fan of television ever since I could watch it. There's so many writers and producers I've admired for years. And the fact that so many of them agreed to be on the podcast, it was truly like a master class with each episode.
That's just wonderful. Kenny is going to be with us for the whole show. And we're going to come back. We're going to talk about some of your favorite places in Atlanta. Kenny is also a comedian, so I'm excited to talk to you about that.
Absolutely.
But right now, we are going to introduce our first story of the day. So last year, South River Art Studios suffered a massive fire, and so many of the artists were displaced. Well, there is finally a new artist studio space that has opened up that has taken many of them in. It's called the Foundry. Gulch Magazine's Jasmine Henschel has more.
If you've spent any time on Ralph David Abernathy near Metropolitan Avenue in the past couple years, you know that stretch. The walls are covered. Murals from the Atlanta Crossroads Mural Festival, pieces from the Drip Invitational last October, and underneath all of it, years of graffiti from writers connected to the spaces right around the corner. iDrum is across the way. So are Day and Night Projects and the Met. It's one of the densest concentrations of working artists in the city, and as of this month, there's one more space. It's called the Foundry, Creative Foundry Studios officially, and it occupies 23,000 square feet on Bronner Brothers Way. Perhaps that name rings a bell. This is the historic Bronner Brothers manufacturing campus where one of Atlanta's most influential Black-owned businesses made its beauty products. After that, it became a home for small businesses and entrepreneurs, and now it's welcomed artists into the fold. The Foundry was founded by Adam Bostic, an artist, fabricator, and entrepreneur who runs Arc Design. And the problem he built it to solve is something we hear artists in the city talk about all the time. Atlanta's creative economy keeps growing, but affordable industrial workspace seems to keep shrinking. So people end up scattered across disconnected studios, temporary spaces, storage units, or whatever they can find, really. This makes it much harder to collaborate and harder to grow. Rather than just renovating rooms for working artists to rent out, the Foundry brings a network of resources and access all under one roof. Yes, this includes affordable private studios, but also dedicated zones for welding, woodworking, and painting. an on-site materials and tool bank, engineering and installation help for artists trying to build something bigger than they can handle alone, all alongside workshops, consulting, and mentorship. The studios themselves come from spaces that have been gutted and redone. New floors and lighting, gallery white walls, high ceilings, real natural light, and air conditioning. If you've ever tried to make work in an Atlanta warehouse in August, you understand why that last bit matters. A number of artists have already been making work and collaborating in the space, including Atlanta Style Writers Association. If you don't already know them, you should. They do a tremendous amount of organizing for this city's style writing and graffiti community, connecting artists with organizations and opportunities, getting artists paid, and building real respect and recognition for the craft both in and outside of Atlanta. We spoke with them about their journey with the Foundry so far.
There's a lot of artists who have a lot of really cool ideas, but maybe they're hesitant to get started. And this is the type of space where like those big projects can become a reality for sure.
And they have firsthand experience. Back in April, if you got the chance to walk through Oakland Cemetery for their annual Illumin exhibition, you probably encountered the Vaughn Mausoleum. A full-size tomb, it was painted to look like aged marble, covered in graffiti, and built so it could be taken apart at the Foundry and put back together again on site. Atlanta Style Writers helped oversee that project. The artist, Vaughn, created the concept and contributed his building skills. But bringing a piece like that to life is essentially like constructing a house. It's the kind of job where being handy certainly helps, but you need the expertise of a contractor to make it a reality. That's where Adam came in. They pitched him the idea, and he got excited about it the way an artist gets excited about their own work. Then he did what seems to be the whole point of this building. He filled in the gaps. Vaughn would draw a beveled letter or show photos of a spray-painted bevel, and Adam would somehow translate it into perfect angles to make the shapes real.
Adam's like really good at translating the artist's ideas and like making it large scale and all of that. There's pretty much nothing Adam can't do.
And the mausoleum's not the only thing that's come out of the space. Tapestry of Generations, a collaborative public artwork currently up in Heart of Roswell Park, organized by Dashboard in the city of Roswell, weaves together work by local residents to showcase that area's history as a textile mill town. And in July, the Foundry threw a 2-day show called Work, part exhibition, part fundraiser, to help finish out construction of the building and bring a little more stability for artists to keep making things there. Stability can be a loaded word for creatives in this city right now. Last November, a fire on Fleetwood Drive tore through South River Art Studios and left several dozen artists and makers without studios, without tools, and in a lot of cases, without years of their finished work. The fact is, an artist studio isn't just a room you rent. It's where the work lives. And in community-oriented spaces like these, it's where people making the work find and support each other. For some of the folks affected by the South River fire, the Foundry has become a place to rebuild both their practice and their community. And that's kind of a big deal. Which brings us to Saturday.
So we are working on an event called The Hard Opening. A little play on soft opening, but we're doing it big, so it's hard.
Atlanta Style Writers is organizing it together with the Foundry. Inside the warehouse, you can expect a paper show featuring some of our region's most prominent graffiti artists and style writers, including Totem, Dr. Dax, Vaughn, Cheek, Days, Coast, and others. Outside, there will be live music on a new outdoor stage, artists painting murals in real time, limited edition merch, and a best trick skate competition put on with Mobile Skate Shop. As I record this, there are folks at the back of the building constructing ramps and the stage. This coming week, graffiti writers will be inside painting the walls, and others organizing the space for visitors. Showing up like this takes a lot of unglamorous work. It's the sort of thing plenty of people talk about, and far fewer actually do. But it's a foundational part of building supportive and sustainable communities.
we believe in it and like we believe in you, you believe in us type of thing.
And underneath it all, there's a bigger idea at play.
We really want to just show a cool blend of cultures and scenes in Atlanta. You know, we want to show the overlap between street graffiti, street art culture, and skateboarding, and, you know, punk music and stuff like that. And I think those scenes overlapping in Atlanta creates like a special magic that we want to highlight.
And that's just it. By the time those doors open on the 15th, the building will have been revamped by many of the same people who are about to work in it. And by a whole lot of people who won't, but who showed up anyway. That's what this community does. They show up for each other and they rebuild together, over and over again, despite any setbacks along the way. The hard opening at the Foundry is Saturday, August 15th, starting at 3 p.m., and the Best Trick Skate competition kicks off at 5. It's at 600 Bronner Brothers Way, that's Bronner, in Southwest Atlanta. For the ATL Arts Collective, I'm Jasmine Henschel of Gulch Magazine.
That was Jasmine Henschel from Gulch Magazine. If you want to learn more about what Jasmine does, you can check out gulchmagazine.com. So as you know, we're here today with Kenny Murry from WABE and from the Creative Eccentric podcast. Kenny, you're also a comedian. When did you start doing that?
It was actually my senior year of high school because I wanted to roast the administrative staff. And that was the only time where I could appropriately like do it and get my diploma. But it you know, what's sad, Kim, is that
It's hysterical.
all of my jokes, the judges did not think so. All of my jokes were geared towards, I'll tell you, all my jokes were geared towards like inside jokes about the school and staff. And in order to keep things fair, they brought in judges from completely different schools. So they didn't understand anything I was talking about. And it was already difficult at the time because I sounded like a hillbilly version of like one Fat Albert's henchman. Mushmouth or whatever. So they already had difficulty trying to accentuate what I was saying on top of like the jokes about the assistant principal's pantsuits and the football players getting all these girls but having no personalities.
Oh my God.
So yeah.
I feel like that would translate to any high school.
You would think, but I think you would also have to have a joyful high school experience. Those judges did not look like it. But I ended up taking a hiatus, and then it's weird. I came in with this like strange delusion, really, because in my mind, so I didn't win that high school talent show, but I got a lot of great, responses. So I thought like, oh, there's no way I cannot, there's no way that I cannot succeed at this. There's no way that I'm not gonna make people laugh. I found out quick that was not the case, but it does light a fire under you because I mean. One thing I think is so interesting, people always ask me about comedy and journalism. I always tell them comedy is so much easier for me because you have that room to sort of make mistakes. You have that room to just allow your flaws and your natural crackhead energy to be a bonus, to be a triumph for you. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I feel like that's one of the few institutions to where it's like your flaws and your disappointments and your insecurities can be used as an advantage and can be celebrated compared to journalism where you feel as though you have to talk like this and you want to make sure that you're as articulate as possible and you're as well-spoken and well-dressed and all these other qualities.
Other people's stories, right?
Oh,
so
yeah.
it's completely different.
When you're telling other people's stories, there is that extra layer of responsibility,
That's
especially if there's more emotion or there's more severity towards that story. You want to make sure that you're telling it as appropriately and as well researched as possible.
Yep.
So I mean, that's terrifying to think that somebody's livelihood, somebody's personal intimate experiences are in your hands, and you want to make sure that you do right by them and you do it in the most high quality integrity filled way possible.
Yeah. And you're very good at it, but I'm really happy that you are feeding all sides of your creative mind between the journalism, the stand-up comedy, and the fantastic interviews that you
Thank
do.
you.
And Kenny brought a great interview with him with Terri J. Vaughn that we're going to share in just a bit. But right now, we need to do a quick little check-in on your Atlanta credentials.
Yes, ma'am.
We're going to do our little Beats, Bites, and Sights segment.
Okay.
So we're going to start out with Beats.
Okay.
What is one of your favorite venues in town that you love to go see, either like music or comedy, some sort of performance venue?
Yeah, I would say Punchline. It's based in Buckhead, attached to the Landmark Diner. And I just want to give a shout out to my boys at Punchline who work there and perform. Holden Schneider, Matt Talley, Aganj Malik, Perry Benton, Jeremy, Alex Ryder, and Marcus McLean. Incredibly talented guys who not only work there but perform and host and make it such an incredible place to go every Sunday night for the open mic, as well as Marcy, the lead manager, who's incredible, the lead talent booker. Every single person involved with the Punchline, it truly feels like you're going home every time you step in. I just love the environment, and I love the smiles that we're able to place on people's faces. It's truly a one-of-a-kind experience.
Oh, that's fantastic. And I can hear your passion about it. That's wonderful.
It was one of the first places I went to frequently when I first started doing comedy. It truly has become like a second home. I highly encourage anybody looking for some good laughs to go out there.
Well, where do you tend to go in Atlanta when you're like, I want a good meal or a good beverage, and I feel comfortable here. I love it.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that, and then, okay, I'm a little nervous to say it because I've been traumatized with a lot of hate for saying this, but Piccadilly. I love Piccadilly. And they're like, it's geriatric, but I'm like, old people are the best. They're not on their phones. They are all so classy. They smell wonderful, you know? I'm going to the one on Greenbrier this upcoming Saturday, and it's that I feel like that's gonna be better getting their like cube steak and the corn stick. Who else does corn sticks anymore? You know, nobody. That's why it's essential.
You're killing me.
You know,
so
I think
cafeteria style.
I like
going
it's
down the
so
line.
classy. Yeah, the Jello and everything. So there used to be one Memorial Drive when I was growing up, and we'd go every Sunday. So now I feel like a lot of people as they get older, they're like, oh, I get to buy alcohol anytime I want, or I get to pay taxes or whatever. If they're rich enough, they're not paying it anyway. But with me, since I'm not rich, but I have a big heart because I work for public media.
There you go.
That's the lie I tell myself. At least. But because I'm not rich, Piccadilly is like that adult feeling like, oh, wow, like I can get on a bus and go out to a traditional mall for lack of better words over in Greenbrier.
Yeah. Have you ever been to This Is It?
Yes.
It's
I used to do
good,
karate.
right?
Yeah, I used to do karate. They don't have the one at Stonecrest, but I used to do karate in Stonecrest. We go to This Is It after that every week. And it's funny, I went to my first This Is It in like maybe 7 years, I think. The one out in Camp Creek. A couple weeks ago, I almost cried. That macaroni and cheese was so good.
That's so good. All right, we got to get a cafeteria meal together.
100%.
I look forward to it. All right, last up,
100%.
sites. When you need to feed your soul, what do you like to go look at?
It's really interesting. It's like a full circle moment here. So me and my friends from high school, we'd always go to the CNN Center on weekends.
Really?
Because it'd be just so, and I don't even think I told you off camera or whatever. I don't think I shared this with you, but I actually took a tour of CNN Center when I was like 10 or 11.
Nice.
One of my aunt's friends used to work here.
Oh,
And
wow.
so ever since I did that tour when I was little, all throughout high school, this was like the pinnacle because I knew I wanted to be in like some form of media. So being able to go through and have 10 different worlds going on at once, right? You got the Omni Hotel on one side. You got the Emmy Award-winning journalist going up that big little globe escalator that's sadly not here, which also broke my heart. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah, I'm sorry. When Kenny came in to see the CTR, it was the first thing. I mean, it meant a lot to a lot of people, that
was
escalator.
awesome.
But I mean, the globe is still there. So, Kenny, you have a real passion for older sitcoms. And we've talked before about Laverne and Shirley and all of the iconic ones. Was that just your childhood growing up? Because I feel like you're almost a little too young to have had that be your childhood.
Yeah, so Laverne and Shirley is one of the first sitcoms I remember watching when I was little. That as well as Happy Days. And I just remember thinking to myself, even at a young age, I'm like, these actors are great, but there's something more towards the story that we're seeing. I didn't know what a writer's room was at the time, but the older I got and the more I realized, like, wow, people literally get to come together and create these characters and create this world. So, I mean, of course, when I was in elementary school, you had syndication runs. So that's how I saw Laverne and Shirley, Mama's Family, The Steve Harvey Show, which starred Terri J. Vaughn, of course. What else? Cheers. Huge Cheers fans. And it's funny, I only saw the Kirstie Alley years, so I didn't realize, I think, until college about Shelley Long. Yeah. So I mean, Frasier, of course. So it was seeing all of these older shows just around the Andy Griffin Show, watching with my parents, seeing it right before I went to school. Around middle school, I was like, okay, I know I want to do this in my future. So I did something that was kind of out of the ordinary, but I'm grateful I did it now. I went on the Wikipedia for the Primetime Emmys, Outstanding Comedy Series, Outstanding Drama Series, Writing, what have you. And I just started looking at all these shows and thinking to myself, okay, they all got nominated for a reason. I want to go in and I want to watch and I want to try and see what resonates with me, what does resonate with me, and try to have a better understanding as to what they created that allowed them to get those Emmy nominations or Golden Globe nominations. So that's how I ended up really diving deep into things.
Amazing. Well, we're going to hear one of your fantastic interviews in just a minute. But before we do, we're going to head over to Little 5 Points. Criminal Records is celebrating their 35th anniversary this weekend. And ATL Arts Collective contributor Chad Radford has the story.
This year, Criminal Records celebrates its 35th anniversary in Little 5 Points. On Saturday, August 15th, the store is hosting one of the biggest neighborhood block parties of the summer. Owner Eric Levin opened Criminal Records in 1991 after moving here from Ormond Beach, Florida.
I didn't start the mission with some sort of lofty, I'm going to be there for the community thing. It was just natural.
What started as a humble record shop that bounced from 3 locations has become one of Atlanta's most enduring cultural institutions. To celebrate that history and legacy, and to thank the community that's kept the doors open all these years, nearly 30 acts are performing across 3 stages: inside Criminal Records, outside in Finley Plaza, and up the street at the Little 5 Points pub.
A lot of people have asked, well, usually these are 10-year marks. I'm not being doom and gloom, but I'm like, well, party now. Party while you're here.
The marathon list of local artists performing throughout the day includes Muelas, who bring a Latin-inflected charge of modern hardcore and post-punk drive to the stage. Hip-hop artists Michael Myers and Dylan Von Mauer keep the energy high, and Puddle's Pity Party channels the tears of a clown into a stoic one-man cabaret act with a baritone voice. One of the more intriguing newcomers to the stage is Buddy Red. He is the eldest son of iconic Atlanta rapper T.I., and Buddy is a guitar slinger. His style is steeped in the essence of Southern blues, classic rock and roll, and modern alternative music. It's a musical palette that he says was shaped by simply walking into Criminal and taking it all in, one album cover at a time.
Very soon after I started playing the guitar, I found myself at Criminal Records like once or twice a week, every week, you know. It's where I got my first Queen record, A Night at the Opera. That was the first rock and roll record. And then that's when I got, my David Bowie records. That's when I got the Strokes record. And it's where I discovered Pink Floyd as well, because I'll never forget this. But I remember I was probably looking for David Bowie or Queen or something. And I looked on the wall and there was this album on the wall. It had a white triangle with a black background and like a rainbow sticking out of it. I was like, what is that? I remember seeing that on t-shirts and stuff, but there's no name on it. There's no band, there's no title. Like, what is that? It's just a triangle with a rainbow. And it stayed on my mind for a little while until I saw it again. I was looking up the best albums of all time and I had a name in a band for the album now. It was Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd. And that was the first time I even saw or recognized Pink Floyd. It was in Criminal Records. And needless to say, I bought that record at Criminal Records as well and it changed everything for me.
Lux Travails is another intriguing act that is debuting on the Little 5 Points Pub stage. The group is rounded out by guitar player Fran Capitanelli, who has played in the Tom Collins, Tenement Halls, and recently released a CD with Totally Into the Sound. Bass player Philip Frobus is from the band Omni, and drummer Darren Dodd has played in various projects with Butch Walker over the years. Levin recalled asking Fran and Philip separately to play the party. Fran said, "I guess I'm playing in a new wave band with Philip now." When Levin asked Philip, he said, "I'm playing in a hard rock band with Fran now."
We're coming from two opposite corners of the room, but when it comes together, it's like something you wouldn't have anticipated. That is really cool.
I like to think about it kind of in the way that when Peter Gabriel or David Bowie is out to Robert Fripp or Adrian Belew or something, and you kind of get this monster sound coming together. Yes, like that.
Do you feel broken?
35 years after Eric Levin opened the doors to a little record store with big ambitions, Criminal Records remains proof that independent spaces matter now more than ever. It's a place to buy vinyl, CDs, comic books, and t-shirts. It's also where Atlanta's music community continues to gather, discover, and connect. On August 15th, that community returns the favor, filling Little 5 Points with the same energy and curiosity that has sustained Criminal Records since 1991. After all, anniversaries aren't just about looking back. The best ones remind us why places like this are worth celebrating and worth keeping around for another 35 years. For the ATL Arts Collective, I'm Chad Radford.
That was ATL Arts Collective contributor Chad Radford. Please, if you'd like to learn more about him, check out his website. It's radatl.com. We're going to take a quick break for our sponsors, and when we come back, Kenny Murray's interview with Terri J. Vaughn.
Support comes from Motherlode. Recently featured in Vogue magazine as one of the top vintage spots in Atlanta, this 10,000 square foot space features over 60 local curators and artisans who offer a variety of items from designer to kitsch and from antiques to modern. Located on Covington Highway in Avondale Estates, the store is open daily from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Browse, shop, attend an event, or wander around and get inspired. Learn more on Instagram at MotherlodeATL.
We are here again with Kenny Murray, and Kenny brought with him a wonderful interview today with actress Terri J. Vaughn.
Yes.
Tell me how and why you decided to choose Terri to talk.
Oh, man. Well, Kim, the main reason why I wanted to choose Terri J. Vaughn, two reasons. One, I think of Atlanta Town, I think of her. She moved here in 2009, I believe, right as the industry was taking, course. Mm-hmm. And I think she's a true testament towards how one person can have such a huge impact in the industry. And also, too, just for my own personal reasons, as I told you earlier, I grew up watching Steve Harvey show every morning before school. So it was truly a full circle moment being able to speak with somebody who truly inspired me to want to pursue writing and brought me so much joy and so much laughs over the years.
Oh, that's fantastic. All right. Well, this is Kenny Murray talking with Terri J. Vaughn.
I know with the Steve Harvey show, most of the time you get questions about Steve and Cedric and Wendy, but the main person who I wanted to ask you about today was Winifred Hervey. And I'm curious, what are some takeaways that you learned watching her that you feel did you well when you started producing and directing your own endeavors?
Oh my God. First of all, thank you for that question because you are correct. 30 years since we've done that show. No one has ever asked me that question about Winifred Hervey.
Are you serious?
Never. That's amazing. So kudos to you for being different. And I don't know, just feels more grounded to ask me about that because she's the creator. She's the creator of the show. So I have so much love for Winifred Hervey, and I have tried to bring her back into the world of television, but she is not interested at all. But the reason why I ever wanted to just continue working with her because I did learn so much from her. First of all, just being a woman in that position of overseeing a show that she created back then was huge. She was such a joy to work for. She was very clear on what she wanted, very clear on the messaging that she was creating, and she didn't waver from it. But she was just the most beautiful, loving. Her smile was so just warming. And I've just always looked up to her. And she was very open to teaching. I used to ask a lot of questions when I was on set, and she was always open to it, open to letting me sit in the writer's room. So I will always have so much love for her. And she was a great leader, a great woman. She was a mother and she was just a badass. And I love Winifred Hervey.
That's amazing to hear. I know when I first started doing my research a couple of years back, I'm a huge fan of television. I knew, of course, about the Steve Harvey show, but Benson, Laverne and Shirley, The Golden,
Yes.
she won an Emmy Award. She was a showrunner for The Fresh Prince for 2 seasons. It was truly mind-blowing, especially during the 80s and 90s to see a Black woman take reign and dominate the television industry in that way. And also, too, with all of us, you all had a female showrunner as well, Betsy Barnes, correct?
I didn't get as close to Betsy as I did with Winifred because I spent so much time with Winifred. But yes, Betsy Barnes, she was also just really fun. She was also a mother and a wife. And I love seeing women have full lives and not feel like they have to be in a box to choose to either be one or the other, to be, a present mom or to be a businesswoman, to have to just choose one. I love when women feel brave enough and courageous enough to, live their lives fully of everything that they want it to be. So they set examples. For me, even, I've always wanted to have a family, but I also always, I wanted to be a boss. I wanted to be a successful businesswoman. And they were definitely truly examples that I could do that and do it, and do it at a high level and have a great life. And I love that they were both comedy writers. So I have a affinity towards comedy because I believe that comedy is healing. Laughter is healing.
Absolutely. And you've brought so much laughter to so many people in your projects. One that's been most recent and especially most talked about throughout Atlanta was Miss Governor, such an incredible series. And I'm curious, what was that collaboration like being able to go into it hand in hand with Tyler Perry and Keisha Lance Bottoms?
So that was one of the highlights of my life, to being able to, again, create a show, that came from my mind, inspired by women in my life. And, when I first started putting this show together and developing the idea before we ever brought it to Tyler Perry, I reached out to Keisha Lance Bottoms because though I love television, I love comedy, I love women in power, I'm not well versed on the political space. But the story was inspired by a girlfriend of mine, London Breed, who became the first Black female mayor of San Francisco, which is my hometown. And so when I started to create the show idea, I knew that I wanted, since I was placing it in Atlanta, originally the show was created to live in Atlanta. I wanted to connect with somebody that I knew could speak to that world and share stories of their experiences. So I reached out to Keisha Lance Bottoms, shared the show idea with her. She loved the idea. Of course, this was going to be her introduction into television as an executive producer. And she was excited about it and shared so many stories. And a lot of those stories ended up in our show. So it was such a beautiful experience. And then once we met with Tyler Perry and their team, they got it and they wanted to take a chance on us and join us on the journey. And so we did. And that's how we all got together. And it was awesome.
Amazing. And I've always wondered what is the most challenging as well as the most rewarding part of being in front of and behind the camera on a series like that?
For me, the most inspiring, the most beautiful part of it is getting to connect with all the people you get to connect with, right? So that goes from us on stage working together and the family that we become with all the cast, and knowing that this creation, this thought of mine for a show is now feeding the homes of all my cast members. Like people are able to make a living and take care of their families. Like that's huge for me. And then the content, the material that goes out into the world that our audience gets to share in and laugh in and experience and see themselves and connect. That's the other part that blesses me so much. So many people have come up to me and just thanked me for being a reflection of them in their journey, in their struggles and what they go through and presenting it to them in a way where they can laugh at those experiences, to laugh at the ridiculousness of what we're up against a lot of times as Black women in leadership roles and the ignorance of people that try to stop us or block us or intimidate us. So to be able to tell those stories that connect with so many women is the reason why I keep doing this.
I have to ask, I mean, you've been a resident of Georgia here for a pretty long period of time. How would you say the television and film landscape has evolved over time throughout your duration here as a resident, as well as how do you feel that the industry here has allowed you to grow as a creative as well as just a person?
So yeah, I watched Georgia change. When I first moved here was in 2009. So the big industry shift had not happened here yet. So when I first moved here, it was really important to me that if I was going to live here, that I wanted to pour into the the industry, mostly by paying attention to young artists, young actors that wanted to pursue this career in a serious way. When I moved here, I started teaching acting classes. And then I opened up a theatrical bookstore, small little theater, coffee shop called The Green Room. We were located in Buckhead. It was called The Green Room Actors Lounge. And we had books and scripts and coffee and classes. We did live music and all kinds of things. It was just an artist haven. And I had that here in Atlanta for about 2 years before I had to close the doors. But it was such a beautiful way to kind of just bust some doors open for some of the artists here in Atlanta. Several of the students and people that came through there are working actors right now to this day. And I'm really happy and proud of that. And then when the big boom and all the films and television started to move here, I was like, this is great because I know so many artists that are prepared and ready to go to work here. And they are just as talented as, my friends in LA. So it's been beautiful to watch the shift. And one of the other huge things that happened for me personally here is that my footprint as a producer and director happened here. And I'm not sure if I would have had the same trajectory if I was still living in LA. Just the inspiration here and the support here moving into producing and directing was really huge here. And it got me started. And of course, now it has expanded so much. So I'm very grateful for that.
Well, I just wanted to say thank you again for taking time out to speak with me. It was truly a thrill, and thank you so much for all your incredible contributions and being a pioneer of sorts towards what we see now in Atlanta film and television.
Well, thank you. It is my honor. It is my purpose. It's my gift to the world, and I'm very thankful.
That was today's featured contributor, Kenny Murry, talking to actress Terri J. Vaughn. You can learn more about Kenny at WABE.org. And now it's time for ArtsATL's Best Bets with executive editor Shane Harrison.
Things are starting to pick up events-wise as we enter late summer. You've already heard from Chad about this weekend's Criminal Records festivities in Little Five Points, but there's one more big outdoor event in town too. As a harbinger of all the fall festivals to come, the annual Piedmont Park Arts Festival takes over the heart of Midtown with up to 250 painters, photographers, sculptors, leather and metal workers, glass blowers, jewelers, and crafters. The festival will also offer artist demonstrations, live acoustic music, a children's play area, and more on August 15th and 16th. It's a great week for blues fans too. Skylar Softly is a self-taught guitarist, singer, multi-instrumentalist, and band leader dedicated to preserving the excitement and authenticity of classic American rhythm and blues. The Alabama Blues Hall of Fame inductee will perform at Blind Willie's on August 14th. Out in Duluth, Tinsley Ellis, whose latest album, Labor of Love, was released earlier this year, will perform at Eddie Owen Presents at the Red Clay Music Foundry on August 15th. Michelle Malone opens the show. And on Sunday, August 16th, the Atlanta Blues Society's Atlanta Blues Challenge will take place at Mad Life Stage and Studios in Woodstock. The winners will represent Atlanta in the International Blues Challenge in Memphis in January 2027. There's plenty to keep film fans happy too. Off the Wall at 725 Ponce, in conjunction with the Plaza Theater, will project Pee-wee's Big Adventure onto 5 stories on the face of the East Side Trail's 725 Ponce building on the Beltline on August 14th and 15th. And at the Plaza, they'll screen Riverbend on August 15th. Steve James stars as one of 3 Black Vietnam soldiers who join forces with a determined local woman, played by Oscar-nominated actress Margaret Avery, to organize a small southern town against a violent racist sheriff. After a brief theatrical run and VHS release in 1990, Riverbend disappeared for decades. The recovery of its original 35mm elements made a painstaking, director-approved restoration possible. Now, more than 35 years later, this Georgia-set film will make its Atlanta debut. The Plaza is also showing Wet Hot American Summer, which turns 25 this year, and they'll mark the occasion with screenings on August 15th, 18th, and 20th. Marietta Theater Company will present All Shook Up from August 13th through August 22nd at the New Theater in the Square in Marietta. The show melds the music of Elvis Presley to a book inspired by Shakespeare's Twelfth Night. And finally, Australian comedian Jenny Tian will perform at Helium Comedy Club on August 14th, 15th, and 16th. A regular on the Sydney, Australia comedy circuit, her debut solo show, Picture This, played to sold-out venues up and down the east coast of Australia and was released as a YouTube special where it has nearly 1 million views. My fellow Taskmaster fans might recall her from the 2nd season of Taskmaster Australia. For the ATL Arts Collective and ArtsATL, I'm Shane Harrison.
That with Shane Harrison, executive editor at ArtsATL, and he actually curates a much longer list each week. So you can read about all of his picks at artsatl.org. And with that, we have reached the end of the show today. Kenny Murry, thank you so much for coming in and joining us.
Kim, thank you so much for having me. This has been an absolute thrill, and I'm so happy to be a part of the incredible ATL Arts Collective. I am a fan, and I think it's truly incredible what you're doing for the city.
You're a gem. You're a gem. You'll come back?
Oh, 100%. Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yes, of course.
Well, we look forward to that. And before we go today, I want to let all of our artist friends know that Sproul Gallery is doing an open call right now for submissions for their annual Amplify Mural Contest. It's a $10,000 prize, and that doesn't include the stipend to create the work. Submissions for the open call should go through their website, which is sproularts.org/amplify. They're taking submissions through August 28th. If you'd like to see pictures and links related to today's show, please head over to artsatl.org/podcast. And if you'd like to help with production costs, head over to atlartscollective.com and click the link on support. Next week on the show, Mainline's Asia Arnold returns to talk about Mainline Music Fest, and she's got a fantastic feature profile on the band Mulas. The ATL Arts Collective is part of the Wordplay Collective podcast family. Check out our sister show, In Pieces with Our Land. I'm Kim Droves. Go support some local art this weekend, and we will see you next week.